Subaru XV has been replaced by the Crosstrek, so this week we'll go through some of its specifications and features, and then I'll take it out on the road.
All I need are some better days, 'cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days.
There's 3 models in the lineup and 2 drivetrains, one of which is a mild hybrid. It gives you a very tiny saving in fuel, and frankly I don't think it is worth it for the extra couple of kilowatts that it gives you. But anyway, the front looks pretty much the same on all of them. Headlights a little different in this base model there. Halogen, can you believe it? The rest are LED. But still, I like the front. I think it looks kind of sexy in a fairly conservative way. You'll notice there's some of this kind of ribbing on the plastic that is around the wheel arches. Where have you seen that before? Exactly, the WRX. Crosstrek is just Impreza in a station wagon raised form. Don't know what you think about this colour, but to me it looks like they forgot to finish painting it. It's some kind of a bluey grey colour. Battleship grey. Never did anything for me, don't like it now. Mirrors, they're black, that looks fairly smart, and it's got smart locking and unlocking, so if the key's in your pocket you don't have to bother with the fob. They've kept the badging fairly simple: Subaru, symmetrical all-wheel drive, and Crosstrek. I quite like this kind of little feature in the lights with the bodywork that protrudes into the light. Anyway, I'm easily pleased apparently. There's no locking button on this base model at the back, so when you close the tailgate when you're out shopping, you've got to schlep around the front to lock it. In the back we have, hurrah, a spare tyre, and it's a full-size one, but it is steel, not an alloy. There are clever little things back here. There's a seat belt there, and this is for the rear seat position, so if you've got no one sitting in it, you can just get it right out of the way. It's kind of snug in here, not gonna lie. At the back of the console there's a 2 amp USB and a 3 amp USB-C, but there's not a whole lot of frills back here. And in the front, it's nice and quiet and refined. Subaru's made an excellent job of making this a very comfortable family car, but it also suits singles and people that have an active lifestyle that want to throw crap in the back without it, being too precious. The surfaces, therefore, are sturdy. This sports fabric feels like it'll outlast time, and the tops of the sills are a little bit on the scratchy side, as is that. So the quality of the finish it feels quite basic. Nonetheless, it's very well equipped. This model has traditional dials, for example, and a little multifunction display in between. And on the display, when you put your foot on the brake, it shows up in the little card that's between the lane markings. The center screen, all of that is LCD. And the thing I like about it is Subaru has put fixed buttons where important stuff should be, so it's always there when you go to get it. But that everything has a menu. Even this bit at the top has a menu. You press that, it goes to the radio menu. I like that a lot. There are a few things that you have to do every time you get in the car. For example, I always turn stop-start off. It's absolutely no assistance to you whatsoever. All it does is give you the irrits in traffic. This does have auto brake hold, but unlike most brands where it's a switch down on the dash, this one it's in this main menu. It also has, surprise surprise, wireless Apple CarPlay. It's also got all the safety gear, so it's got Subaru EyeSight, and because this is an automatic transmission, we'll get into that in a minute, it has autonomous emergency braking, and there's 2 little cameras up here behind the rear view mirror, and they're looking forward, stereo cameras that look forward, and it makes judgments about what's happening up front of the car. It looks at line markings, it looks for people, animals, people on bikes at intersections. The steering wheel is standard Subaru too, and it's got all the smart stuff on it, the smart cruise control, the smart steering. So it's all where you can easily get at it. Better still, it's where you can see it. Before we get out of these nice tight bends, I want to quickly mention the suspension. It's McPherson struts at the front and double wishbones at the back. That's quite sophisticated, and it feels sophisticated. A lot of brands make do with that awful torsion bar thing, which I just loathe, absolutely loathe. The eyesight system also includes smart recognition of speed signs. I assume it uses both the cameras and navigation because it's frequently wrong. I've never met one of these systems that was right all of the time. The steering is lovely and light. It does have drive modes, S and I, S being sporty, though any car with a CVT that has a sports mode is a bit of an enigma. CVTs, constantly variable transmissions, they're the most awful thing since the creation of the Kardashians. Absolutely awful. There are paddles, you'll notice, even on this model. And what that's intended to do is to give you some control over the ratios of your constantly variable transmission, which would make it not constantly variable. So why put it in? In any event, we have a horizontally opposed engine and symmetrical all-wheel drive. And every Subaru has all-wheel drive except for the jointly produced BRZ. Now the car is steering me within the lines, lovely, and it's keeping me a set distance from the car in front. Now a lot of those things are needed now to get a full 5 stars. And when I say needed, I mean if you don't have them, chances are you'll get a penalty. We published a story recently on a couple of 0-star cars, brand new, but they got 0 safety ratings. Does that mean you should buy them? I certainly wouldn't. I would not buy a 0-star car. This has got center airbags as well. There's a big sticker down here on the seat that says so. Airbags up along the side, airbags everywhere. One thing I can say about Subaru is it is extremely well engineered and very, very safe. I've done a couple of 100 kilometers so far this week, and I'm down to about 1/3 of a tank of petrol. Alrighty, I've found my tripometer, and it's telling me that, I've done 9.8 litres per 100 kilometres. It's pretty dire. Wow, and I have not been thrashing this at all. 9.8, crikey. All right, let's move swiftly on. One of the other systems this car has is a recognition system. So when I got in, a little sign flashes up that it's scanning me. It scans me and then it sets the things that I like. I love that feel of a boxer engine. That I can't describe it, but it's a little vibration that you get through the pedal and through the steering wheel. I've always loved it. BRZ, Toyota 86, and I think it's because I learnt to drive in a Subaru. So let's sum up the Subaru Crosstrek. It is a good little all-rounder. It's a nice size for a couple or a family, maybe, small family. It's easy to park. The engine is absolutely lovely, but it could do with some more power. It does feel a little anemic, and there's absolutely no point in talking about 0 to 100 times. No point. For this, I would expect the fuel consumption to be better. It's gone down to 9.5 litres per 100 kilometres, but that's still much more than I'd have thought it would get. And that's all this week from Subaru's Crosstrek. If you've enjoyed it, hit like, leave a comment. but above all, over there to subscribe.